Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Today is still Tuesday, July 8th, 2025. Back with another episode. Thank y'all for tuning in. I really appreciate it. As always, I'm grateful. Then I was looking at one of my coworkers, right? He was hooking up a trailer. And I've been knowing him since I was probably 12. Pretty much grew up with him, right? Know the whole family. And I was looking at him, and he brought back an old memory. And I thought about something, how I felt at the time when this particular incident I'm about to tell y'all about happened, how I felt then, and how I feel now. And this is gonna be a story about how you can grow. That as you know better, you do better. And the mind frame I was in then compared to the mind frame I'm in now. So as I saw my man, Wilmer Jr., that's what we call him, Wilmer Jr. Grew up with him, I know his whole family, everybody. We same neighborhood, play together, all that. So I preface that to say this. I'm letting y'all know our history, how long I've been knowing my man. Since we was kids, all the way up until now. So he had his CDL before I did, right? He always been the working type. I haven't. I was a Pookie and Ray Ray, as I told y'all my past history. I was a Pookie and Ray Ray at one time, before I got to where I am now. Life broke me down, tore me down to nothing and built me back up to where I am now. But this is a story about when I was once Pookie. Oh, Ray Ray, we said up one you like to use. They both one and the same. And I remember I was getting out the streets, right? I was trying to change my life and do better. But I hadn't changed all the way yet. And the people that have been knowing me all my life, they don't know nothing about this new way of thinking that I got. They don't know nothing about my change on the inside. They don't see it on the outside yet. So you'll change on the inside before you change on the outside. But you got to change on the inside first before you can see it on the outside. So my inside had changed, but my outside hadn't. So my man Wilmer didn't know about the change going on the inside because he hadn't seen it on the outside yet. So he was still judging me by my old ways, which was still my current ways at the time because I hadn't had that much time to live a new life, right? So in his mind, I was still Pookie. And I had got my CDL. And I was figuring, well, hell, my homeboy got a good job over there driving trucks. We grew up together. And I know one of the best ways to get a job is about who you know. Not what you know, it's who you know. So it's good to have an inside man on a job that you're trying to get, right? Especially a man that's been there for a while that got a little pull. And I knew my man Wilmer had pull on this job. So I'm good. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get this job. I'm gonna come out the back making money. My first job. So I asked Wilmer. I said, Wilmer, I got my CDL, man. Can you give me a job over there where you work at? So he said, yeah, I see what I can do. I said, cool. A couple of days passed, I ain't heard nothing. Week done passed, I ain't heard nothing. 2 weeks done passed, I ain't heard nothing. I seen Wilmer. I said, Wilmer, what's up with the job, man? He said, oh man, I talked to him. He said, they said whatever they got opening, they gonna holler at me and I'm gonna let you know. That's what Wilmer told me. I said, okay, cool. Couple of more weeks done passed, I ain't heard nothing. So I did what I should have did in the first place. Before I asked anybody else to get me a job, I did what I should have did. I went over to the job and said, hey, I want to put in an application. I'm the one Wilmer told y'all about. I laugh every time I said, I want to put in an application at your company. I just got my CDL. I'm the guy that Wilmer was telling y'all about. Oh, Wilmer, yeah, Wilmer, he's a great guy. Wilmer been with us about 15 years. I said, yeah, I know it. And he said he talked to y'all about getting me a job. And they looked at each other. It was two. The owner and his vice president was in the office. They looked at each other. Like, Wilmer ain't told us about nobody. I said, okay. Well, my bad. But can I get an application? I put in the application. Didn't get the job. I was mad, furious. How in the hell? We grew up together. See? That's how black folk do each other. We don't stick together. Ain't that the saying, black folk don't stick together, right? That's how we do each other. I was so mad at Wilmer. I said, whenever I see him, I'm going to let him have it. I'm going to give him a piece of my mind. Call him all kind of F-boys and F-N-words, and you know how we do each other. I thought we were real. I thought you were the real N-word. You ain't real. You a sellout. You a sucker. You a hater. That's what I was going to tell him when I saw him. That's what I said. I was upset. Finally saw him a couple of days later. I said, man, I went over there, put the application. Folks said that you ain't told them nothing about me. He said, man, look, I'm going to be straight up with you. I just didn't want no confusion with you. That's why I told you I holler at the folk. And I figured you weren't going to go over there and try to holler that you wasn't for real. He said he figured I wasn't for real because, first of all, I hadn't put no application in. If you're going to ask somebody to get you a job where they work at, if you serious, the first thing you should have did was you should have put the application in first and then holler at your people. Say, hey, man, I just put the application in where you work at. Can you look out for me? I didn't do that. I went straight to him because I still had that Democrat entitlement mentality. Think somebody's supposed to do something for me. Somebody owe me something. So he's supposed to get me a job where he work at. He wasn't supposed to help me help myself. He was supposed to get it for me. Democrat entitlement mentality. We grew up together, blah, blah, blah. So I hadn't even put no application in. I just asked the man to get me on where he worked at. He said, man, look, I've been knowing y'all your life. I'm thinking you bullshitting, that you don't really want no job. Because first of all, when I went over there and asked the folks about you, they said they ain't never heard of you. You ain't put no application in. I left it at that. That's what he telling me. And he said, second of all, I'm real cautious about getting family members and friends a job. I've done it a couple of times, and it came back to bite me, made me look bad. So I told myself I wasn't doing that no more. That's what he was telling me. That's what Wilmer was telling me. That he really don't like to get friends and family members jobs where he work at. Because he's done it before, and it bit him in the ass. Trying to help his people. You know, help your family. Help black folks. But not really black folks. Just before we was able to differentiate the difference between black folks and N-words. Back when black folk thought all of us was in the same game. Back when black folk thought all of us was down for each other. Before we knew that N-words wasn't the same as black folks. See, black folks didn't know this always. We thought we were all one big happy black family, and we supposed to look out for each other. That's what black folk thought at one time, right? Before we learned the hard way. So Wilmer said he learned the hard way that black folks and N-words ain't the same. And he had got some N-words in his family and some N-words that were friends of his. jobs. And they burned them and made them look bad. I was like, man, F that ain't got nothing to do with me, man. You know what I'm saying? Just me. You been knowing me all my life. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing the old hood. I'm acting straight hood, proving him right about not getting me on. I let it go. Me and him still cool to this day. I just saw him. We still cool. I laugh with him now about that situation. We able to laugh. And I remember, man, I was so mad at you for not getting me the job. You know how I was able to get to that point where I wasn't mad at him. And I'm able to look back on it now and laugh about it. Because I call myself keeping it real. Like Dave Chappelle said, when keeping it real goes wrong. See, I thought Wilmer wasn't keeping it real with his homeboy, me, by not getting me a job. He wasn't keeping it real. I said, if I'm in a position like that, I'm going to keep it real. I ain't going to do my people like that. I'm going to get anybody on I can. If I find me a good job. So I did. I got me a good job. By Mobile standards. Couple of them, as a matter of fact. Had a couple of my N-word homeboys. Do the same thing I asked Wilmer to do for me a few years earlier that he wouldn't do. And then I said I would never do to my own people. So I had a couple of my N-word homeboys. They were still N-words. They were still Pookie and Ray Ray. I wasn't Pookie and Ray Ray no more. I done fully transitioned into being a black man. I was full-blown black man at this time. When some of my old friends that still Pookies and Ray Rays say, Big Wall, I see you doing good for yourself. Got your Cadillac. You driving them trucks, man. I just got my CDL. Can you get me on where you at? I said, hell yeah. I'm a real one. That's what I'm talking about. I knew you were real, big boy. Look out for your boy. I said, I got you. One particular job, Keenan Transportation. I was a gasoline hauler pulling the gas tanker to the gas station. I was the big truck, the big tanker y'all see at the gas station unloading gas. That was me. I got one of my Pookie friends hired where I was. That's the one I was telling you about, that man in there stealing them folk radiators. Stealing parts out of the truck, going to the scrap yard, selling them. This was back in 2005. No, 2003, up in that range. And we were making $45,000 a year back in 2002, 2003 in Mobile. Now that would be the equivalent of about 85,000. Somewhere up in that range, 80 to 85. We were making $45,000 back in 2002. When you can get a 2-bedroom apartment, nice neighborhood, for like $350 a month. With a little pool out there and everything. You know how you had a pool in the apartment complexes? Pool and everything. South Bay, I forgot the name of the other one. $350 a month. Back during that time. I ain't lying to you. 2-bedroom, $350. And he in there stealing scrap metal out the shop. Because they had their own mechanic shop for the trucks. He in there stealing an aluminum radiator and taking them to the scrap yard, selling them in his own name. The first thing the folks did when they noticed that the parts was coming up missing, they know the parts ain't no good and can't nobody use them, except for one thing. Somebody's selling them for scrap. So we only had one scrap yard in the area. Guess what they did? They called them. Has anybody been in here pawning or selling truck radiators? They said yes and gave the name and everything. Fired his ass and let me have it. But how you bring these kind of folks in here on our job, man? They were pissed off at me. I got him on. They blame me just as much as they blame him because I vouched for his character. So whatever he did on the job, reflecting on me, because I'm the one, them folks ain't know nothing about him. They overlooked probably better candidates for the job based on my word that this man here, he the one. They looked over other people that probably, wouldn't have stole radiators because I told them to. I felt this small. I felt so damn bad. This man that went in there made himself look bad and made me look bad. Them folk looking at me crazy now. Them folk, now they watching me. Is Big Ward that type of person? Do he steal? Do we got to keep an eye on him? Because they say birds of a feather flock together, right? Do we got to watch him now? Because he done brought this Pookie up in here, stealing. One more incident I'm going to tell y'all about. I got a Pookie friend of mine hired on my job. Good paying job. Around I say about 2008. I was at another gas hauling job. Right before I got off of the containers, right? I've been hauling containers since 2008. But my last gas hauling job before I started hauling containers, the one I told y'all about, I organized the strike for, and the boys left me hanging, and I ended up getting blackballed, that job. Same thing. Got my homeboy job. That dude on the job, fighting one of the co-workers, pulled out a pistol and pistol whipped the dude on the job. In the yard. He doing hood shit on a $50,000 a year job with 401k, health insurance, white folk working here, black folk working here, women secretaries, white women, Becky and all of them in the office. They looking all out the window at my homeboy pistol whipping the dude, knocking the teeth out and everything at work. Everybody looked at me. He went to jail. That was the last time I did that. And I had other so-called people that I know ask me to get them on where I work. I said, man, they ain't hiring right now. From here on out, if you listening, if you ask me, are they hiring? I will tell your ass no. Don't ask me. And you can call me sellout, Uncle Tom, whatever you want to call me. I got my reasons for doing what I did. And when I saw my friend Wilmer today hooking up to his trailer, that brought back those memories of when he told me, when he didn't get me the job and why. And I was mad at him, didn't understand until it happened to me. Moral of the story, I know it's said that as black people, we're supposed to help each other get ahead. If we know an opportunity, we need to tell other black folks and show them how to do certain jobs and teach them skills. And you hear about an opportunity, you're supposed to spread it on to your other brothers and sisters in the black community. So we, like other groups of people do, Asians, Arabs, white people, whatever, they hear about the opportunity, they get their partners on the job. Y'all know what I'm talking about, black folk. So I was under the impression we're supposed to do that for each other too as black people. And we are. But you better make sure you're doing it for black people and not Pookie and Ray Ray. Do not get Pookie and Ray Ray a job where you work at. They're going to hurt you more than you're going to help them. I just felt like sharing that story since I saw Wilma. Get it, got it good. Bye.